everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Republic of Players podcast. It's great to be back. I've had such a busy few weeks, and sadly I have COVID at the moment, but I've got by the worst of it. So we said we said I should be wearing a mask with the lads around.
Consumption.
But yeah, it hit me hard at the start of the week, but I'm getting through it. It's just the whole tiredness and everything else. But with me to get me through my illness is Mr. John Fogarty. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Good as always, Ben. Playing a bit of Tarkov like yourself.
A little bit too much Tarkov.
I could be playing more.
Did your mythical wipe happen?
It did. It happened like the day after we said it was going to happen.
I thought you were going to jump in, Aidan.
I have too much Baldurs Gate to play.
Yeah, well, that's true. The only reason why I didn't buy Baldurs Gate is because of Tarkov. But yeah, I was talking to John. We might run a co-op playthrough. Maybe a 3-man we might do when I get it. Aidan McCallion is the other guy here with us. How are you doing, buddy?
I am here. I'm doing good. Excited. I love these little get-togethers.
Yeah.
So we've a lot of news to get through. Just the fact that I haven't been on for the last while. The lads covered some great news last week, but there has been some news that we wanted to cover that have kind of been in the background a little bit. So let's dive straight into it. And today we're going to be covering news around Assassin's Creed. The developers of the new Gollum game will sadly be shutting down. We're going to have a little bit of conversation about that, and also why Baldur's Gate is putting AAA developers into a frenzy. So let's get straight into it, guys. The next Assassin's Creed game is launching a week early, which we're starting to get a few of these where games are actually... Baldur's Gate was another one, wasn't it, that was released a little bit early?
Forward.
That's great.
The skeptic in me is like, that Starfield's a real thing that people don't want to go against.
That's true, actually. That could be actually a factor that they're just trying to get just before Starfield because there's so much hype around that game.
All right.
But also, that sort of thing shows that maybe crunch isn't what it used to be. Maybe developers are getting to have a little bit extra time for their games, which is good.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this Assassin's Creed game, because I'm a little bit skeptical of this one. When I seen the initial, whatever it was, CGI trailer for it, it looks a little bit like, I don't know, a very kind of, I'm not going to say polished, but it seems like maybe a little bit of a cash grab. Would that be right to say?
I don't know.
Or is it a fully fledged Assassin's Creed game?
Fully fledged, not in the way the last couple are. They're saying that it seems like the open world thing kind of ran its course and the game kind of got too big. They're talking about this is like going back to how the old Assassin's Creed games were laid out and played. But at the same time, it would need to be really good to make anybody interested, in my opinion.
So you're talking about the old style where people got absolutely sick of because they just did it over and over again, and that's why they changed it up to, Origins and Odyssey, and was there another one? Or was it just those two that came out?
Odyssey. There was a third one. The
Viking one.
The Viking one.
Yeah,
Valhalla.
yeah.
That wasn't meant to be great, was it?
I don't know. People loved it. I think Assassin's Creed fans really liked all of those ones. I know Odyssey, people played the hell out of that, and I know a lot of people liked Valhalla, and I know even a lot of Irish people were very hyped about it because they had the Ireland what's it called, DLC. I've heard good things about them. It's just that those, me, again, Ubisoft, and they make good stuff, but I call it the Ubisoft experience. I climb the tower, get the little bit of the map unlocked, get the base, do the little thing, a million things on your map. I do get a little bit tired of that, but people who loved it love those games, I'm pretty sure.
I had a massive amount of open world fatigue after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think the problem with these games is the people that love them, but I don't think they're attracting any new people.
Yeah, it used to be it's not the niche anymore. Like that used to be the selling point. It's a big, massive open world game that you can do anything, like the Far Cry's, and even going back as far as the GTA 5s. Like that was the whole thing. It's like you could do whatever you want. It's big, it's massive. But now people are like, think it can be big, but please actually have stuff that I could do, or not just and not just collect the 20 feathers. Actually
be 100 hours long either.
Exactly.
It's definitely going to be that though, isn't it? It's going to be the collectathon, a million things on the map to tick off. Like what?
Yeah, but if it's smaller and more manageable, I can see people being happier with it. From everything I've been talking about with people in Valhalla, when people are like, "God, it looks cool, but it's 100 hours," and I'm like, those games kept getting bigger and more expansive and longer, and I just think that was a wall people hit badly.
It's strange that a game like this was coming out like on a yearly basis. A game that it would definitely take me a year to complete anyway. Like I played Origins and I actually really liked it, and the reason why is because it was the first time that you could ever play. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was definitely one of the only times that you played in Egypt in that time, and the world itself was just amazing to explore. I know a lot of people gave it grief with the gameplay and the loot mechanic where you pick up a purple sword and it's better than your gold sword and that type of style. But I actually really liked that game. The problem was when Odyssey came out, people were saying the same about that, and I was like, I can't put another 60 hours into an Assassin's Creed game. So I ended up missing Odyssey and also Valhalla. Valhalla was free actually last weekend. I downloaded it, but I didn't have time to play it, so I missed the opportunity.
They're listen, if you're into them, you're into them, and like we're going to be talking about one in a minute. That's like the best one. So I was gonna say Black Flag. Black Flag is the best one.
Yeah, I think that news was covered already, John. So you can mention it.
Oh, okay. Well, Black Flag, if they're saying it's getting a remake, but I loved that game. I absolutely adored it. It was the first game I got on my Xbox One. And I played the absolute crap out of it. To going around doing the sea shanties, I love sailing. I love being a pirate.
Yeah, Black Flag was peak Assassin's Creed, if you ask me.
That remake will sell hotcakes. People are like, it's almost like universally acclaimed. Black Flag is the Resident Evil 4 of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Exactly. The music in Black Flag, like I have the music saved on my Spotify, and it's just unbelievably epic.
Yeah.
In fairness, most of their soundtracks are very good.
These shanties remain one of the best quest unlockables in a game ever, in my opinion. Yeah, I would do anything if I see a sea shanty. Oh, I'm getting the sea shanty. No questions asked.
Let's move on to some news around the studio that created the new Gollum game that came out. An absolute disaster of a game, to be honest. Being a massive Lord of the Rings fan, even seeing this originally, I was like, I just want an Elder Scrolls Lord of the Rings game and stop messing around with these side mission stories. Like, just give me a full-on blown open world Lord of the Rings game. This game came out, it was not good. Like, there's lots of different shorts on TikTok that you see that Gollum is like glitching through the floor and all this kind of stuff. But the developers it's their last game, and that's the end of that studio.
It's like half the company's closing because they still have a publishing arm. I feel really bad for the studio because I think they got a real short end of the stick with this one. This game should have been a 25 quid indie game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they pushed it as this big full price AAA game. It was if they'd pulled the scale back on that, had it a really cartoony design, and like, because from people talking, controlling Gollum seems quite fun. If this had been like an 8-hour indie game for 25 quid, it probably would be amazing. But I just feel real bad for these guys.
Like,
it's their first big game.
Yeah, again, it does suck. But like, what I've heard about is just like, that's one of the things I heard about. It's too long, and you spend a load of time just being like this prisoner to the orcs or something, and it's just like you go around being like, do some like chores, do this, do that, and apparently the first half of the game is just mind-numbingly boring, and it doesn't look good. There's so many glitches to it. It was one of the few games that I saw that was so harshly criticized before it was even out. Like, Gollum as a game was a meme before it even got released. People were like, we can't wait for this game to come out so we can crap all over it because we know it's going to be bad. It actually, because of how it looked pre-release, it actually had to be amazing for people to go, do you know what? It's not that bad. People were like already pre-registered to hate it. And I'm not saying it's good or anything. I'm just saying it had to be amazing to get rid of that kind of stereotype out of it.
The whole deal around Sorry, no, you were quitting.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fact this was shown as like a big trailer and like E3 shows and stuff, and pushed as like this big full price AAA game. This was a disaster from day one.
The whole. So I'm trying to think of the deal that's going on here. Is it Warner Brothers have the Lord of the Rings license, or there's a massive company that have it to publish it? Is it Warner Brothers?
I don't know who has the game license.
So they obviously they bring in these smaller studios to create games, and I know they are going to continue to create games. Obviously, bring in other studios. This is a small studio as well. It's a 90-person team, so quite small. Not any means a AAA, corporation company. And it is quite sad that this is, it's probably their first game, is it? Daedalic Entertainment.
I think it's their first non-mobile game.
Okay.
Also, Embracer Group have the Lord of the Rings license.
Embracer Group, okay.
Yes, we'll be talking about them later.
Yeah. And yeah, it's quite sad. People have lost jobs here. Nobody likes to see it. At the end of the day, where does the blame go? Does it go to the publisher? Does it go to the developer? It's at the end of the day, it's probably not even the developer's choice to get this thing out half finished or with the way it was. It's the publisher. So yeah, I suppose people have to point the finger in the right direction. If we get another Lord of the Rings game by a different company with the same publisher, and it's terrible, well then we know who to blame. Yeah. But it is sad. This Lord of the Rings is it's a license that's near and dear to my heart. I absolutely love the books, the movies. The Hobbit was one of the first books that was ever that I ever read, and in the last 5 years, it has been dragged through the dirt, going from the Rings of Power, this game. Previously to that, we did have an Assassin's Creed style game, Shadow of War. Yeah, the first one of those was absolutely brilliant, but it did enough to kind of stay away from the main story. I don't think it was canon to the main story, and it was fun.
No. Then the second one just went.
The second one was
crazy.
A disaster.
The second one had sexy Sheila.
Sexy Sheila.
Sexy Sheila. Hey, baby.
Crazy.
I'm a spider. And the second one also got ripped apart because it had I'm not even sure if they were too egregious. I didn't play much of the second one, but it
one
had
of the most egregious ends to a game I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it had just mad microtransactions in it and stuff like that. So people
I platinumed the first one. I loved it that much. And I don't often platinum games. Look, it's sad. Hopefully everyone in that company gets a new job in a company that they can actually take their time with their games and release them fully fledged. And look, it's a trend at the moment with the gaming industry that we are getting games from maybe not like the top studios. Well, that's probably wrong saying as well, but we are getting to a stage where games are coming out that are not finished, and we're expected to wait then, even after we purchase the game at full price, wait for 3 or 4 updates, and it's not really good enough.
But the price is the real big thing, because again, whoever it was, the publisher, whoever it was, just got really greedy with the price. Even think of a fantastic game made by kind of a not like a small studio, but the original Senua's Sacrifice. That
great.
Was made by a relatively small team compared to AAA, and it was 8-9 hours long. Perfect. And it was only $30. It was $30, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
More of a team than Gollum. Gollum only had 25 people.
Yeah. Wow. But that's just the difference, because even though honestly the quality is there as well, and it's a fantastic game, I can't wait for the sequel. But the price point was there. They knew people weren't going to pay $60 for this game, and it made more people buy it, in my opinion.
Yeah, double A games as a pricing idea people don't look at enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rockstar just made a big investment in the Grand Theft Auto role-playing scene. 5M and Red M marker CFX.RE is now part of Rockstar. So these are the role-playing servers. Sadly, I never got to actually play one, even though I said from time and time again that I wanted to experience it. even watching them on YouTube on stream, they look like a hell of a lot of fun. There's so much different mechanics that are added into the game that just give you that sense of, you know, role playing, whatever you want to be. Whether it's, I think Paddy said he was a solicitor, was it, or something like that, or a lawyer?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Which is just pretty cool. You can be a cop in the city, you can be a criminal. Rockstar have bought over 2 of the biggest servers. What does this mean, do you think, for the actual role playing scene?
I think this means GTA 6 might have role play servers from day one. That's, if I to guess any reason why you'd buy these now, is that you're like, oh, maybe want to have role play from day one on GTA 6 just in case you don't have the move over that you want when you release GTA Online 2.
Yeah, but exactly. And probably also just see the money in it, because there's probably ways to monetize that for them as well. And they see the amount of players that are in these servers that love these servers. There is people who are a bit frightened by the fact that they might just shut them down and release their own servers a la Blizzard to like all the. But they didn't buy them though. But Blizzard just
Rockstar wouldn't do anything like that, would they?
I think eventually that's 100% happening.
Like, if I remember Blizzard closing down all the like the really popular unofficial classic WoW servers about 2 or 3 years. John Tran had the video about like why would you do this? And then a few years later, there's like, oh, but now we're making classic, and it's like, okay, so I wonder if like GTA might be doing something similar, like okay, there's these servers that other people make, but now we own them, and now you go through us if you want to do role playing. For some reason, maybe just to monetize it on their end. I don't know.
Oh, I guarantee that's eventually happening.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Yeah, they're going to figure out a way to make you spend shark cards on role playing items and stuff like that.
They do say
that's going
here,
to suck.
So it will help them find new ways to support this incredible community and improve the services they provide to their developers and players.
Hopefully, they might have good intentions. It's just I'm a cynical man.
Wouldn't it be unreal though if they just kept the same, like they bought it over, but they just allowed the creators to just continue doing what they're doing, because it's obviously worked. I didn't actually know, but Red M is a role playing server for Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, RDR2.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's something that I do want to try out. I see if there was a few streamers that I watched before. I know Bosch Merchant, he kind of started doing it, and you know he had his whole character built up.
Yeah,
you know there's a lot of great creators, and it takes a lot of creativity to get onto a role playing server and build up your character, and it's quite interesting to watch. And what I love about it is everybody on the server is role playing, and like that's full on immersion. Like that's as immersive as you're going to get. So it's hopefully
at any one time, the GTA role playing servers can have more players than all but the top 5 games on Steam.
That's crazy.
On Friday, like, oh yeah, we have 170,000 people playing right now.
Wow.
It's nuts. It's crazy how popular it is.
I mean,
it's so cool.
Yeah, and again, it's been going on for a while. Like, again, they used to have the old, well, I'm probably even older than this, but my first time being introduced to role-playing servers was Gmod. The Gmod role-playing servers, and just running around being like, hello, I'm a shopkeeper. And then
making your own sitcoms.
Yeah, and then like the police officers arrest you and like put you in jail. I was like, this is bad. This is really, really cool. So it's like an evolution of that. But listen, so many games have been an evolution of Gary Mod stuff. Like, and I know you got Werewolf as well. I know the card games and all that, but like Trouble in Terrorist Town, baby. Like, that was the Among Us before Among Us. TTT was fantastic. Prop Hunt, that just literally got robbed by Call of Duty and thrown in.
Gary's Mod, one of the most influential games ever made.
Gary's Mod is back in the day. I love Trouble in Terrorist Town. I lost a lot of hours to that.
Gary's Mod was always a game I kind of looked at, and even when it was on sale, I was like, will I buy this, or am I going to be able to get in? Never experienced it at all, but it looks like a lot.
It still has a thriving community, and especially in those game modes. Like, it started, Prop Hunt mode in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like, that game mode was just in Gary's Mod for years, Prop Hunt. And it's just the exact same. You just hide around the map. You can be whatever prop you want. Hop up. There's a few seekers looking for you. If they find you, you can run off and try and become another prop. So much fun.
Didn't Dark Souls have a thing that you could become a prof.
Yes, of course. The every game was different. Dark Souls 3 was the branch.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
You,
There was a
you
pot or
actually
something
need-
in one, wasn't there?
Yeah, you actually needed it in Dark Souls 3 to become a I was so I don't know how we figured this stuff out unless you actually freaking read it up. You had to, it said find your humanity, so you had to go down to humanity pool, use a mimic tool to become a humanity, and then you walked up to a wall and a ladder fell down. It was like, and that was to progress. That was actual progression, not like for a side thing.
Dark Souls 3 is a great game. A
Oh,
classic.
that's funny.
Okay, Microsoft has announced a new Xbox feature in the seemingly endless battle to get gamers to stop acting like raging assholes, it says here in the
Stop saying the N-word.
an enforcement strike system. 8 strikes and you're out. I'm all for this. I have seen, I mean, I used to play Call of Duty, and some of the stuff that was said to me, like, there was times where I felt bullied, I'm not going to lie.
That's the old meme. The old meme is the whole fragile snowflakes, and people are like,
Oh, the COD server.
Yeah, you wouldn't last 5 minutes in a COD server in Black Ops 2 or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's bad. But I think as I suppose we progress, there is going to be more and more features like this, and I think it's right. You know, people shouldn't be able to say whatever they want. Like, if you go on to, I find, for example, okay, I've been playing Arma recently. You're on a map with possibly 100 people, and the community is amazing. Like, everybody wants to help out. If somebody says something bad, like, everyone's down his neck saying, you can't say that, don't be saying that, or we'll kick you out of the server. And it just creates this really friendly place to, you know, to game. And if we have something like this on Xbox where kids can't just come in and act like raging assholes, I think it'll improve the gaming industry, especially for, you know, my kids want to go online, and if they go online in a game like maybe Rainbow Six Siege, like, I can't let them be in a free party, because it's just going to be, they're going to hear stuff that they've probably never heard before and shouldn't hear. It's good. I'm happy this is coming in. Hopefully PlayStation can follow suit with something like this as well.
I love that you mentioned Arma there, because there's one thing to be said for dad games, and that's the communities are really nice.
Honestly. Like, you're in there, and it's like, my God, like, everyone here is just, and it's almost like you don't want to say anything because you might upset it. You know, it's like, Arma is, like, I've been playing a lot of that game. Well, before the Tarkov wipe, I've put a lot of time into Arma, playing the online modes, the offline modes. That game is outrageously good. Like, if you can pick it up on sale, I think €15 for all the DLCs. There is so much content there. You could be playing it for years, and the modding community as well is just amazing. Definitely one that has really taken my gaming time up in the last while.
People have and will be playing it for years to come.
Arma 4 is coming out supposedly soon enough as well, so keep an eye for that one.
That'll probably be very pretty.
Yeah, hopefully anyway.
The newest Armas always look really good.
Yeah,
when they come out, exactly.
Yeah.
So the huge world of Starfield will require a certain amount of space on PC and consoles. 140 gigabyte. So clear your hard drive and get ready for this behemoth of a game. 140 gig.
2/3 of a modern COD game.
It's massive, isn't it? Yeah, 2/3. Yeah, you're right.
200 gigs I saw it is now.
Yeah, that's a joke, to be honest.
That's just lack of optimization on COD's part.
COD is a joke when it comes to the size. Like, it's a game that I'd probably have on my system just to jump in with friends, but not for 200 gig. I'm not having that thing on the system because you have to just clear everything off and have like 1 or 2 other games, and I'm not doing that.
200 gigs
costs too much now. Yeah.
So is 140 gig, that's standard probably now, is it? What's Baldur's Gate?
There's very few. Baldur's Gate's 100 exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 140 gigs is still egregious. Like,
it's still big.
Most games. Yes.
You're still probably in the top 10 games for size ever made.
Yeah. It was a few years ago now, but what was Red Dead?
Not counting COD.
Yeah.
Red Dead was 70 or 80, was it?
No, it was over 100. Well, maybe it wasn't.
I just remember it
think it was-
being huge anyway, but I didn't like. I thought at that time, Red Dead Redemption.
I'm
let's
almost
see,
certain it was over 100, but I
I
can't.
think it was 101 at launch.
But I remember that
150 gig, John.
That's okay. So it's even bigger. I knew.
That's what it is now.
Okay, possibly, yeah. But it,
Yeah.
it was definitely over 100 gig at launch because it was a massive news story. A game over 100 gigs again. That wasn't cut. It was huge. I remember that being the talking point. Like, this game will knock your socks off.
In 3 days downloading it.
This is like back in the day when you used to get 4 discs.
Oh
With a
yeah,
game.
it's like, oh, this is a big one.
So I'm going to mention this. I was checking the size of games today. Did you know Rocket League is 45 gigs?
Wow.
It's a game about cars playing football. How is it so big?
But you know what's going
The
to
detail of those cars.
You know what blows my mind? I can't remember what Elden Ring was, right? So I'm going to even take that out of the equation. But like, From Software just know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Because
they do.
I remember
These developers.
They're the best.
Sekiro, I remember was like 20 gigs or something. And I was like, I remember when I saw it, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to download the demo. It's like, no, this is the site. I need to play Sekiro. It's this massive, like a proper, fully fledged game, and you're like, nah, you're tricking me. There's some witchcraft going on here.
Elden Ring takes up 45 gig.
45 gigs for Elden Ring is insane.
And Sekiro was 25.
25, yeah. What's your theory, Aiden?
Okay, so you know the way in Japan, space is at a premium. Everything's very cramped.
Yeah.
And everything is used very well. This is why Japanese games are always so amazingly optimized. I'm telling you, you go and look at the size of any game that comes out of any studio of Japan, like, that's really reasonably sized compared to everything that comes out over here. I've mentioned this to people over the years, and they look, it's like, oh yeah, every Japanese game, like the newest Dragon Quest is like 18 gigs when it came out or something like that. All those Zelda games are all like under 15 gigs, and the size of them is insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, even Elden Ring being 40 gigs is crazy because that game is massive.
Yeah, you mentioned Sekiro. I remember downloading Sekiro. I was like, this is 20 gigs, and like everything at that stage was 60 or 70.
I wonder what Armored Core will be. Armored Core will be. I bet you.
I think it'd be smaller than Elden Ring because I hear it's easier to run than Elden Ring.
Ooh, I'm very tempted to get that game.
I'd be interested in that one as well.
I've never played an Armored Core game in my life, but I think like the first one on the PS1, or one of them anyway. And I remember the character creation and just love putting like, oh, do I want legs or wheels this time? But just because it's From Software and they've been making Souls games the entire time. And I'm like, listen, I know I've never played this game, and they're saying it's not a Souls game, but it's From Software. Like, I just
there's going to be some
really
little
good
mechanic in there that you're going to go, I know where you're from. The Ushin in the chat says lazy devs who can't compress files, but is that really it, Ush? Like, is it lazy developers? Like, what does it take to compress files?
Well, to compress them and to not lose performance is like a bit of an art. Just to compress them, you can do that, but you might like ruin the performance of your game.
It's
Well, I think we've shown from what Aiden is saying. I think we've shown that like, if it's probably not a coincidence that these massive games from Japan are so well optimized and they're not optimized other places, means that it is an art, and it probably is slight laziness on non-Japanese developers. Do you know what I mean?
And
I think it's because of the space situation in Tokyo. I'm genuinely like, that's the reason it is.
We have to all go to Tokyo, actually. That's top of my list of places that I want to visit.
Yeah.
That would be...
Were you there?
I'd be like a giant. I'd be in one of those rooms and I'd be like...
Where are we going to fit everyone?
I'll be Godzilla. You keep it King Kong.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
It's an interesting one, but yeah, 140 gig for Starfield, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. People are not going to complain about it being 140 gig. They're going to buy it anyway, and I suppose that's what it boils down to.
Tonight.
When is it out?
It's out in like at the end of the month, anyway. But you can preload it. You can preload it from today.
Okay. I'm very skeptical of that one. I'm not going to lie.
I'm always skeptical of Bethesda games because I think they deserve you to always be skeptical about it. But there hasn't been another Bethesda game that got delayed for like nearly a year for QA testing.
Yeah.
And that gives me hope.
And I think I do think that, again, I think I said this before, but I think Fallout 76 really, really turned people's brain off to Bethesda, because if you think of like every game they released before that, they've all been incredible. And I'm going to include Fallout 4 in that because I know some people don't like Fallout.
Yeah, no, Fallout 4 was very good.
Fallout 4 same single player games.
Like, I loved Bethesda games, and to be fair, I've never played 76, but the stuff that came out about it, I understand. But like, so I'm still like, okay, they effed up with 76, but like, this is like, I'm still not on the bad Bethesda bandwagon, I guess.
Okay, so we'll get there though.
Look,
We'll do a review on the channel.
Yeah.
People forget that in this time period, they also made the 2 Doom games, which are like incredible.
They are.
Yes.
Is it the same? Like, I know it was Bethesda, published by Bethesda. Was it the same team behind the Fallout Skyrim games? Different team.
I just wanted to mention how much I like Doom.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I think that game is going for nothing on Steam at the moment.
Yeah, it always gets real cheap, but also it'll run on anything. It's one of the most well performance and like,
they're both on Game
I've
Pass.
ever
As well.
seen.
They're both on Game Pass as well.
Nice.
Along with every Bethesda game.
It's Bethesda, yes, of course, yeah.
Embracer's $2 billion deal that blew up was with Saudi Arabia. The publisher behind Dead Island 2 is closing studios after losing money.
I wish there were a lot more than Dead Island 2.
Yeah. So Embracer Group, the Swedish holding company that's been buying up everything from Borderlands maker Gearbox Entertainment to the rights of the Lord of the Rings, saw its stock plummet early this year when a mystery $2 billion deal collapsed at the last minute.
This was huge.
Do you want to continue on with this?
This happened like a couple of months ago. There was like a meeting and Embracer was like, yeah, we had a deal that was going to bring us $2 billion and the deal just fell through. Like randomly at a meeting, just this was said, and their stock price plummeted. And like, it's probably going to lead to a lot of their some of their smaller projects getting closed down. It was a real big hit for them. And then it came out last week that this was meant to be with the Saudi Public Investment Fund.
Yeah, buying up everything, so they are. In fairness to them,
they're not sports washing is enough now. They need to do game washing.
Sport washing, it is insane that the money's being thrown around when you see some of the players there going. Let's go to football for a second, but going to the Saudi League. And again, nothing wrong with it. Premier League has been buying
Make
the
your
top
badge.
names for years and years and years. That's how they've been getting the best players. You got teams like Southampton that can freaking offer people 80 million, euros to basically try and stay up. You know what I mean? So the money has been crazy in the Premier League for years as well. It's just that Saudi Arabia said, hold my beer, and have made it go absolutely freaking nuts.
They're serious about getting kind of, especially sport. Like they tried it with the golf, football.
They're doing it with wrestling. There's 2 huge wrestling shows every year. Saudi Arabia now. They're
the money
spending.
is crazy.
WWE is making more off Saudi Arabia than it makes off WrestleMania now every year.
Yeah, this money is just crazy.
Anything.
It's a touchy subject because people say it's sports washing, and it's true just to get a better reputation, and they do have quite a reputation for
the dictionary definition of sports washing.
Yeah, so it's legitimate. Like I'm not going to go against people's religions or anything like that, but they're against certain things, and there's certain people that are being downtrodden that people are kind of like, maybe they shouldn't be the ambassadors for global sports if this is the beliefs that they hold.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. Some people
I don't even think you need to go into their beliefs or religion. I'm just against Mohammed bin Salman. I think he's an evil man.
Oh, he's an evil man. Yes, correct. Please don't hurt us.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
But he's got loads of money.
But I'm also
F1,
kind of like,
says, yeah, true.
I'm also kind of like, get the bag.
Like, for the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. The
money's going to go to somebody. Get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, with the live golfers, they took the paycheck, and now they're just literally back into the PGA.
Man.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is the craziest story. Like, Rory McIlroy looked like such a fool.
Yeah, they made him look like a
Yeah.
hanging the hat out and
Yeah.
Oh, it was like I felt so bad for the guys. Like, oh, they have screwed you in ways people are almost never screwed.
I think he'll be remembered though, but for standing by his morals. Like a lot of people were, they were backing him through at that time. I think
Yeah.
Rory McIlroy he was like the hated person in golfer that nobody liked to see win. But over the last definitely 2 or 3 years, I think he's become a fan favorite. He's a phenomenal golfer as well.
He seems like a decent person.
Yeah, he does seem like a decent person.
Yes.
When you look at him in interviews and stuff, like when you see him out on the golf course, and I think he used to be a little bit more arrogant, like in his younger years, which who isn't, to be honest.
Who isn't?
Yeah, and people, it's easy to kind of, I suppose, give out and complain. People like to do that,
Yeah.
but yeah, he was a great kind of mascot for the golf, the PGA Tour, and showed everyone why I suppose the importance of it. While the whole live thing was going on, and then there was other people on the other side saying they're literally offering me bucket loads of money to play less golf. Like, why wouldn't I take it? And you can see it from their point of view as well. So Roadblocks will soon start to interview some job seekers in game. I have a feeling this possibly is happening already, but I could be wrong. What's your thoughts on
A
it?
little bit.
I'm like, the metaverse is one thing, but the metaverse full of Roblox people is another.
At least Roblox established itself, though.
Yeah, but
This is.
it's weird.
You have kids running. I don't understand Roblox.
It's literally like a moddable game that you can go in, you can pick a game, you go in and you play that game, you can jump out, you pick another game. It's just endless user created content.
Yeah,
that's
it's like
what
dreams,
I see.
It seems more like Gary's mod.
Yeah,
it's a little bit like that,
yeah. Basically, it's user created. All the maps are created by users. Everything that they play is by users. Probably some kids who know what they're doing probably could make some maps themselves, which I guess like Mario Maker, people just like doing that as well. But no, like my nephew was obsessed with it, and like he'll literally be like, it'll be the most random thing. He'll be like, look, this is Sonic meets Bluey 2.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you go into it, and
ridiculous.
it's like, and they're just big characters being like, we have to run. Like, what the hell is happening?
But like, there's FPS games in it. There's different games.
Oh, yeah.
They did an Only Up server, and like I looked at it, it didn't look as good as Only Up, but it was still, you did the exact same thing. You climbed as far as you could, and you fell down, and it's as far as I know, because I did a little bit of research into it, a lot of people were worried at the start that, is it safe for kids? It seems to be pretty safe for kids. I know there's obviously anyone can go on and jump onto it, but there's a rigorous enough sign up process, and like I've never seen, and my eldest would tell me as well, like he's never got any people offending him or anything said in the chat. So they whatever they're doing it right. Like, it wouldn't become this famous if there wasn't some sort of protection for the young people that are playing it. So the game is massive.
Literal crack for children.
Yeah. It's just like, even it was my middle child Logan, his first game was probably Roblox, and he was just playing it on mobile. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm running through this assault course and I'm trying to get to the other end, trying to beat everyone else's time. And the next one he's doing something completely different, and he's doing up his character, and he's getting new clothes, and there's just endless possibilities.
The idea of looking for employees in your game is kind of weird.
Seeing that. Did you not hear about Kim Kardashian's kids seeing that video of her in Roblox? No, I didn't see that.
Oh, the Ray J one.
I mean, in fairness to that kid, if it's not Roblox, going to see it somewhere else, because people are going to use that against them. That's the reason why you shouldn't do porn if you have kids. They are going to see it regardless of where to see it.
That video got them everything.
Yeah, basically. And now we have to look at, well, I don't, but people love that family for some reason. Obsessed.
Another thing I don't understand.
No, I don't either. But it is what it is.
People love drama, and they're great at creating it, I guess.
Poor Kanye West. Am I right?
Wake up, Mr. West.
Did you hear it came out last week that he had considered changing his name to be just a swastika?
Oh my god! I honestly, I think he's just.
His mind.
I think he's just trolling.
I thought
convinced.
Jonah Hill cured him of his anti-Semitism.
Yeah, one of the greatest Instagram posts of all time.
He has to be trolling. Like
that one was that particular post. I just watched. What was it? 21 Jump Street or whatever.
Yeah.
And Jonah Hill has cured me of my anti-Semitism.
People were rejoicing in the streets. I think it's 50-50, Ronan. I think he knows he's getting a reaction, but I do think he is genuinely insane. Like, off the meds, mad.
I think it's pretty clear he's very bipolar.
Yeah. And who wouldn't be after being with that family for an extended period of time?
Kanye's had like a crazy life when you look at it. Like, he went from being like a down and out to nobody will say no to him about anything very quickly.
Yeah.
He's a musical genius. Did you not hear?
He is, yeah. A musical
the worst
genius.
thing is, the worst thing with that is, it's probably true.
He actually is a musical genius.
Yeah.
College Dropout, his first album was insane.
Late Registration is also one of the best rap albums of all time, in my opinion.
Like he just went a little bit kind of space cadet on us. But hopefully he brings out a new album and he's all cured and he's kind of laughing saying, I trolled you all.
I wonder what the next level of Kanye craziness, because there's been a few. There's been the I'm a genius. There's been the
Taylor Swift.
The Taylor Swift
thing. That was great.
There's been multiple levels of Kanye craziness. I wonder what the next one's going to be.
Yeah, but it's so like the Katie, or what's her name? Katie Taylor. I was going to say what's the American singer?
Taylor Swift.
It's so harmless, that Carry On. Like, you know, like it just blew. Everyone was like, devastated that she didn't get her moment, and it's just like it's so harmless and it's just funny, to be honest. But yeah, people were quite upset about it. It was funny. Okay, we went off a little bit of a tangent there. Roadblocks. Bungie, back to Aiden. Bungie recast Keith David to replace Lance Reddick as Destiny's Zavala. What do you make of this?
Oh, yeah, well, Lance Reddick died a few months ago. Awful, horrible story. He was maybe the most integral voice acting character in Destiny. He was Commander of Zavala.
Yeah.
And I think Keith David is maybe the only person on the planet that I think it's a good idea to replace him with.
So is this for Destiny 3, new DLC? What's happening in the world of Destiny?
So the final chapter of their planned saga ends next year.
Okay.
And they have promised a huge shake-up on the way the game's going to work. I don't know if it's going to be a Destiny 3 or not. They have talked about turning the game into like a spacefaring journey where you have to leave your own solar system and go out once you have everything fixed up the way you are now. But a lot of people thought that once Lance Reddick died, they'd just kill Zavala off. But it appears like no, they've put the effort in. I love Keith David. Love the man. He is cool. One of the best voices. Yeah. But like genuinely, the only person I think could replace Lance Reddick is Keith David. This is brilliant.
And then the next piece of news is also on Destiny. So Destiny 2 director promises significant changes while addressing state of the game reaction. Yeah.
Joe Blackburn. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago, there was a state of the game with Destiny. And there's been a lot of little problems building up over the past while with this game. And people were kind of ready for it to be addressed, and it wasn't addressed people wanted it to be. Like, the game got kind of buggy because they are a game that has just constantly been bolting expansions on every 3 months, and so they were doing that while also trying to completely overhaul the underlying code of the game, and that caused there's a 4-month period where things were pretty buggy, and that's going to get fixed eventually. But one of the things was PvP and Gambit, the PvEB VP mode, have felt very stale for a long time. They don't add maps in the way they used to. Gambit hasn't been touched, and they just didn't address this properly. It came out as if these things weren't going to be looked at. So this state of the game came out, people felt were really bad, and there was a real like sour feeling about Destiny. So Joe Blackburn, the man in charge of the thing, came out and basically said, look, screw it up. We haven't been prioritizing the parts of the game that the people want us to. We've been prioritizing things that we wanted to. And they're like, so we started development. There's a full map pack coming out for the PvP mode beginning next year. Gambit's going to get a little bit of overhaul. Nobody really cares about Gambit. Not that important. And we are going to take some of the armors that we had planned to be paid DLC, and we're going to make them the default unlockable armors over the next couple of seasons instead of that. And it just shows that they're listening.
Yeah.
I think it was good.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty cool. I'm just it was a Twitter post, wasn't it, from him? And
No, yeah, but put out a full. It was a video. Oh yeah.
Yeah, 15-minute video. Yeah.
Sorry,
it was
really
a video that he posted on his Twitter.
Joe Blackburn seems like a really nice, like good guy to be in charge of the game. Destiny is one of those games that they've hired quite a few people who like were players to be their developers over the years, and he was one of them.
Nice.
Now he's in charge of the whole thing, and there was a real fear that they were getting way too into their microtransactional stuff, like that they were going to get really greedy. And if the way they're talking seems like that's not the sort of the path they're going to take, and I hope they really land, because next week is them revealing the final expansion of this saga. And honestly, this is maybe the games I've been most excited for in the past decade. They have built such a good crescendo that to see them sort of their wheels wobble 6 months before it comes out would be a real shame.
Yeah.
What's the DLC called?
It's called The Final Shape.
Awesome. I have a lot of respect for Destiny, and I put a lot of hours into 1 and 2, but obviously fell off with other commitments. Tarkov. But yeah, it's great. It's great to see.
You can only have one forever game.
I know you can. You definitely can. You can't have any other game with Tarkov. It's just simply Tarkov when it gets wiped and it takes over your life. I think it actually gave me COVID. I'm blaming Tarkov. So Xbox 360 Marketplace, the console's online store, will cease operations on July the 29th, 2024. That's some pretty big news. Anyone have access to the Xbox 360 Marketplace here? Anyone use it? Aidan?
I have one. I've mentioned this for one reason. I want to inform people this is the only place you can buy Burnout 3. If you don't have Burnout 3, go and buy Burnout 3.
All right.
There you go.
Burnout 3.
Hashtag Burnout 3.
Oh god, I love that game so much. And it's the only place you can get it easily is through the 360 store. I actually have a load of games on my 360 that I bought. I got a 360 at the same time I got a credit card, and that ended up pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
that's why you got a credit card, so you could buy a new console.
No, I got the console and then I got the credit card. I was like, and then I got broadband. I was like, oh, Xbox Live Arcade's pretty cool. 300 quid later.
We can FIFA with the gosh darn freaking FIFA points. I know that game. That was FIFA points.
I remember every Thursday being like, oh, what's on Xbox Live Arcade this week? So, because there was a 6-month period where they released banger after banger after banger. Explosion Man and Trials.
Oh,
Trials is great.
Geometry Wars 3. Oh god, there's 6 months where they released so many good games on that.
And I'm assuming you get to keep those games on newer hardware, because I still have Trials, the 360 version of Trials on my Xbox.
Once you buy it.
And they're also, I think the server is going to stay up for you to be able to download these games still. Just the store's going away.
Okay, that's good.
Perfect.
They've also said that as long as the publishers keep them up, they're not shutting down any online servers.
That's good. I'm happy with that.
Finally, no, work away.
It's about the best way you can shut down an online store.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, Twitch. So before we get into topic of the week, Twitch lets you block ban users from watching your stream, which is a new feature that they're after bringing in. We just got that update today. Twitch has introduced a new update to its settings menu that finally prevents banned and block users from viewing live streams, a feature that some may be surprised to learn didn't exist already. So that's a good one, actually.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the way it worked before was that they couldn't chat, but they could still watch the stream, was it?
Just chat bans.
Stupid.
Yeah.
It's going to ruin the fun that, like, I watch a lot of streamers that ban people almost like out of as a rite of passage. Like Doug, for instance, will ban someone for 1 million seconds if they do a got him joke in any way, and people were like, "I will fall on my sword."
Well, hopefully there's a way of doing, like, we'll say full bans or just chat bans. I don't know. I haven't read about it.
Yeah,
that's the way I would imagine.
Yeah.
It'll be chat ban or video ban.
Yeah, they just added to the menu, so stop ban users from viewing stream, and there's a little tick mark there.
Okay.
So it seems to be pretty intuitive.
Is it a case where you have to stop all banned users, or you can choose when you're banning somebody?
I'd imagine the way you described it, if it's ticked on, when you have it ticked on, none of them go watch.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that you can put in certain.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of streamers that probably won't tick that on. Then there's a lot of people. Yeah.
I mean, you can still time people out, right? Can you not until you not time people out indefinitely?
Oh, is that how it works? I don't know. Say the truth.
I do know you can time people out, which is literally like you ban them, but there's a timer on it from chatting.
Okay.
So it's literally like I time you out for 60 minutes. You can chat.
Okay, that's fine as long as that still exists.
It was like the slap on the wrist. It was like, you're getting too excited. You need to cool down. You can talk again in an hour, sort of a thing.
Let's talk about topic of the week, guys. We're just going to call it Baldurs Gate 3. And the reason why we wanted to mention it is because, well, one, it seems to be getting some fantastic reviews. It's actually the one game that I'm watching on YouTube and checking out character builds and different classes and getting ready for when I purchase it. I'm actually going to definitely get it on PC, but I think I'm going to get it on console too. Play it with one of my good friends, Ben Fisher. Don't know whether he's listening. Usually he is. And like, we're going to do a full-on backstory of the character. Hopefully Ush will join us as well, and just really kind of dive into it. He doesn't have a PC, so it is great that it's coming out on console. The reason why we brought up this game as topic of the week is it's really setting a new standard for the way RPGs are, and yeah, it's led some
people are.
It's led some developers
scared.
to start panicking, which is a little bit ridiculous. But what's your take on it, guys?
Well, the panic started early because I remember we were talking about this before Baldur's Gate even came out. Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate.
From Delvin.
From Devon. But that was always the thing. There was some developers being like, now listen, when Baldur's Gate comes out, we all know it's going to be the tits, okay? They've had all this time to develop it and all this whatever you call it, beta stage that people have been playing, that, you know, you can't expect every company to do this. People were just like, are you already making excuses? The game isn't even out yet, my dudes.
This happened with Elden Ring as well, remember? Remember some developers like, you know, I don't like the UI for this Elden Ring game. I think it looks cheap.
Who was he?
Yeah.
You'd find that's out there. There's like a thread up. There is this thing. Game development, in my opinion, has never been more of a hive of like money grabbing scum in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And seeing a game like this come out of nowhere and be like, no microtransactions, 100 hours long, and like the most in-depth character choice things I've ever seen. Like, this must be like sliced bread appearing and non-sliced bread being like, God damn it, what are we going to do now?
Exactly.
Wouldn't you say, like, even to the build up to this game, like, Larian had Divinity Sin 1 and 2, which were, they blew the RPG world apart as well when they first came out. And I think there is when I'm watching the game on YouTube and playthroughs, there's a lot of crossover from those Divinity games into this Baldur's Gate 3 game.
Absolutely.
So I think they've been building up to this. Like I'm not saying that they brought a lot of the assets over, but they're definitely using, maybe the way the missions are designed or the character development, or if you do one thing in this village, it's going to affect something somewhere else. And a lot of RPG developers pretend that that's the case. They'll say, oh, if you do this, it'll affect the game completely. And usually it just ends up coming back full circle. But with Larian, they seem to have it to a fine art in the way RPGs are meant to be. If you do something bad here, you might get arrested in the next village, or something completely different happens. And I really love that about these games. I think it makes it so immersive, and Baldur's Gate 3 seems to do that, but turns it up obviously
replayable.
Very replayable. Yeah,
man, just the fact that you can have completely different outcomes from a conversation depending on which character in your party talks to the person.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's insane. But I would argue the Divinity Original Sin 2 set a new standard for games when it came out.
Yeah.
That game was a masterpiece, but it didn't have the D&D name onto it, so it didn't get the big news that Baldur's Gate 3 got.
Was that an original IP, the Divinity Original Sin?
That's their IP, that's their world.
Like, I played 1 and I absolutely adored it. I haven't got to play 2 yet, but the first one was absolutely brilliant. And something that, honestly, something that's not been talked about that much, and I think it's such an amazing feature, and again, it's setting a standard, is the fact that you can play this cooperatively. Like, to have such a detailed world and to play it with, it's up to 4, isn't it, you can play with?
Yeah.
Like, that's
5, because you can have a 5th person plan your game for you.
That's just so cool. Like, to have that there just as, an option to play with friends, I just think it's brilliant.
And it's easy drop in, drop out co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Like, it's really simple. Like, it's so seamless and easy.
Like, am I right in saying is there always like one main account and your friend kind of joins your world? Or is it a case that, let's say the two of you join, and let's say you want to go your separate ways, or you can't play it together, you're on different times, can you just continue on no matter what side you're on, or how does that work?
Yeah, as far as you can make a server and then you can invite people to it, and people around it can start it, and then the people who have access can join at any time. And whenever you join, you automatically level to whatever the level is of every other character, so nothing will be left out.
Well, that's game design at its top now, to be honest, because it's always like you have to join the main server, but the guy that's joined in mightn't get as many XP as the other guy because it's not his world, and all this kind of crap that goes on.
They put the XP matching in the game. I think it's just a genius idea.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to play that game.
Because the same as this is a thing that I think they took from D&D, because most DMs in D&D have a thing where like the party is at this level because nobody likes being left out. Nobody likes being under-leveled or over. Like, nothing feels worse than you missing a night and landing back and everyone else is a higher level than you.
It happens in Tarkov, to be honest.
D&D have a thing where when you run a game, you run at party level, and that's always the easiest way to do it.
I mean, again, not to bring it up, but all the time, but it's the same pretty much in Elden Ring. It's got drop in, drop out. You drop into your friend's world, they drop into your world. You get to continue. Everything scales to, like, so if you're under leveled and you go into a harder area, you're doing a little bit more damage, and vice versa. If you're over leveled, you go into your friend's world who's fighting the first boss, you do less damage. So that's what I was thinking of the second I heard about all this as well.
I love looking at where Dark Souls 1 started with their online co-op. I'd be like, man, you got so good at this.
Yeah, pass really changed the game.
It was so weird at the start, like when you first started playing, you're like, you have to go to this guy, you have to get a stone, and you mark the ground, and then you have to get your friend to go to find that stone in his world, and you're like, this is the weirdest thing ever, but it was so cool.
It's a random chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the password was the Dark Souls 3, I believe, that brought in the password system. Was it Bloodborne? I think it was Dark Souls 3. And that made it like so much handier.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, just bringing it slightly back to to the whole developers kind of giving out stink, we'll say.
Yeah.
Not giving out stink.
Can we just make sure that we're covering this properly? Is this just one guy on Twitter that's just complaining? Because I'm trying to find like where, you know, what developer is complaining. Like
it started basically a war on Twitter with people being like, some people like, well, this is game developers should have to deal with this new standard, and other people like, no, it's unrealistic to expect other people to make games this good. It's not actually like individual developers.
Yeah.
This is that people have chosen teams.
Okay.
Well, I want to say, I would say people are even taking the wrong message from a game like Baldur's Gate. I think one of the main things that Baldur's Gate do is things that every game could do, which is make it a complete story. Make it not have microtransactions. Like, it's fantastic. Some of the greatest games ever made. Freaking Passports Please. That's not a graphical freaking crazy game that has game that has like loads of different endings. That has such engaging storyline and so many different ways to play through it. Are you going to be the good guy to feed your family? Or are you going to be the good guy to let people get through? Are you going to be the bad guy and work for the government so you can feed your family? And this is all taking place on this little screen that's just little documents. And you see little tiny profile pictures. Complete game, thought through, no microtransaction, beginning to end. Everything else about Baldur's Gate is great, but I think that's the main thing. And people are saying, "Oh, the standard can't. The developers can't live up to the standard. They're too fucking greedy." Go away with yourself. Like, that's like you're talking absolute nonsense. This is the basics that they've forgotten about.
Yeah,
like this is a game. This is a game that they had to pay licensing rights on, and they're still be able to make a profit off this, spending 6 years on it.
Yeah, we've complained a lot about developers on this show especially this year, that they've been releasing stuff that is broken or too many microtransactions or just ridiculous mechanics, that are not in the game. When a game like this comes out that is just perfectly created and designed, that puts pressure on AAA developers to actually up their ante. Yeah, and that's a bloody good thing. That's a good thing. Like, if anything, if a good game makes other developers look and say, well, we actually have to up the ante here, well, then keep releasing Larry, and keep going and keep putting pressure on them, because it has been a bit of a joke recently. And it is great that we've got to a stage where this game has come out, it's phenomenal, and other developers are taking notice. Put a little bit of effort into your game, guys, and you won't get as much backlash as if you were just like half bake it, or if you put microtransaction. Like, there is no microtransactions in.
No, think about it this way now. Larian are at a stage now where they could make an expansion for this game and sell millions of copies of this expansion. Earn your downloadable content. Be good enough to make people want more.
I would have no problem with them releasing an expansion after this. No problem.
Even if they just sold extra classes as microtransactions after the game they put together, I'd be like, if you're going to continue developing this game now afterwards, if you plan a game and finish the game and like, well, now we could add stuff to it, but you've earned the right to add stuff to it. You've made a whole product that people are happy to buy on its own. Oh, do you know what I miss? Like, finishing a game and unlocking something, because you unlock a skin, but no, the skin's gonna be sold. You unlock cheat codes. Cheat codes are just things you can buy for extra. You can unlock things by paying for it.
Dude, that's again that was
a lot of PS1 games, and I miss secrets and cheats and things.
That's why people loved. In fairness, they did have it. That's why people loved Borderlands 3. They were like, "Wait a second, I just unlocked this thing for myself." It's like, yeah, and I was like, but why? I didn't give you my credit card information. And they're like, no, you earned it. Go use it. I remember that that was actually a story. Like, that was actually articles being like, Borderlands 3 has people like joyous because they're actually giving you the skins and stuff by playing the game. And people are like, what? It's gone to crap. And
Larian Studios have a base in Dublin as well. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I respect that company so much. God, they do such good work.
What did they do prior to the first Divinity? Like, have they been around for a long time?
I think they were formed to make Divinity.
Divinity, yeah. Divine Divinity was their first one in 2002. Then Beyond Divinity, Divinity 2, that must be DLC. Dragon Commander, and then Original Sin came out in 2014. Enhanced Edition in 2015, and then the second in 2017, and then the definitive in 2018, and then Baldur's Gate in 2003. That is a solid set of games there.
Yeah.
Are they all? Yeah, they're all old school. They're all, not old school. They're all CRPG up to Divinity.
Yeah, I think
2 is CRPG.
I think as far as I know, as far as I know, Larian were formed by a lot of people that worked on a lot of old CRPGs. I think that they were designed to be a super studio specifically for that sort of game.
Well, it's worked out nicely for them. Fair play to them.
It's great, and again, they gave themselves time. They knew what they wanted to do, and they knew their scope. And again, cynical old Johnny Boy is just afraid that the thing that other developers are going to see is like, right, what people want is they want a load of stuff in the game. They want a load of stuff. But it's like, no, you already don't give yourself enough time for the stuff you're putting in games. They want a complete game. They want a game with no microtransactions, and they want you to have a vision and to have a beginning and an end. That's what they want.
So, John, what you're saying is the people want bear sex.
People want bear sex. If you don't have bear sex in your game in 2023/24, you guys will not release it.
This is a worry. I worry that this is the lessons people are going to take away from this. That they oh god,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
it's great to see. I'm looking forward to playing that game. Aidan, let's get out of here so you can continue playing that game. And John, you're not playing it just yet. We were thinking about doing maybe a co-op playthrough when I get it. When the Tarkov bug just stops, which hopefully won't be too soon. Hopefully we don't lose all our money tonight after the show. But it's been good to get back to it, guys. Again, I have been sick as a dog all week with COVID, but the guys held me up throughout the show tonight. So thank you, guys. It's great to run the show. We're going to be here next Thursday, same time, same place. I know it's we had a small viewership tonight, but it's still great to get even one or two people in, and seeing the likes of Payne there is always good as well. We haven't been really consistent in the last month, and that was due to me being so busy and just not being able to make the time. But hopefully things now will start turning around and we'll be able to run it every week. Paddy couldn't be with us.
Crazy summer. It
has been a mad summer. Paddy couldn't be with us tonight. He's obviously big getting plans for the wedding coming up, so he's going to be busy over the next couple of weeks and that as well. So we'll keep it going, guys. We'll be here next week.
Brian is off competing in a fighting game tournament today.
Brian, actually, I haven't done a show with Brian. That's why I actually forgot about him. So yeah, Brian is one of our newest members. Like, how long is he around? Actually, it's probably a month or two.
Month and a half, I think.
So yeah, he's another person with massive knowledge as well, and I'm looking forward to doing a show with Brian as well. So next Thursday, please be there. Hit a like if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Do so as well. And yeah, we'll sign off. Aidan McCallion, where can the good folks find you?
On the internet.
On the old internet. John Fogarty.
People can find me at 2O for Gaming. That's 2OOOLD for Gaming. On just type it in summary, you'll probably find me.
Perfect. What I want to just shout out is head over to the Republic of Players community. Also, we've a very vibrant messenger. What do you even call it? Chat group going on over there as well. 24/7. The Republic of Players. Lots of cool people in there that just want to talk video games all day long, which is fine by me because it's a nice place that I can go and escape the madness of real life. Head over there, give us a follow, and jump into the chat. You're always welcome there. Also, we're trying to grow this YouTube channel to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're getting there. So if you haven't done so, hit subscribe. Tell your family and friends. If they haven't done so, tell your fans. If they haven't done so already, to come and join us. And yeah,
subscribe.
I'm just glad we got through that one. I'm happy to do it, and it's great to be back. Guys, we will see you next week. Same time, same place.